Book Talk. Today we're discussing the second book in the Shatter Me series, Unravel Me by Tahereh and Mafi. This was a very good book. I liked it. In my opinion, I liked the first book better. The second book was very good, but in my opinion, the first book was better. But I love this book. The writing was really, really good. What can I tell you about the second book that won't spoil you? Well, basically, it's picking off where the last book left off, and they're basically going to fight, and I just don't want to spoil you that much when it comes to this book. But it was very good, and that's it. So if you haven't read Shatter Me, or if you haven't read Unravel Me and you don't want to be spoiled, you could check out my Shatter Me book talk that's up right now, and then you can come back. If you haven't read this book, and if you haven't read this book, read both books, watch my book talk for this book, and then come back. So, bye non-spoiler people, bye! So guys, like I said before, this book was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. But anyway, this book was really, really good. I enjoyed it. Like I said before, I liked the first book better because we got like an introduction to the characters, and now, but we got, the good thing about this book is we got more characters, and because like we get, if you notice at the end of Shatter Me, we got introduced to the new characters, but now in this book we get more of their story, which is really interesting, and I love that. But I'll make a point, and Castle and everything, and then how crap goes down towards the end of the book, and the war aspect. Can we talk about that? You see, with the war, I'll get back to that. There was war at the end, but the war aspect I feel like wasn't important. I think the fact that more about Juliet and the characters was more important to the story. First, we open up, and it's like 2 weeks after the first book picks off, and Adam and Juliet are together, obviously they're boyfriend-girlfriend, and she starts off middle of the book, maybe first few pages, we learn that she keeps this secret from Adam. She keeps stuff from him, and she hates keeping this secret from him, and she's like, what do I do if I don't keep it from him? And we also learn in this book that Adam's power is, he's like an off switch for people. Like if he touches the person with the ability, or the power for that matter, then their power turns off. We learned that when he was training with Castle and he told the story, and then because first we see him hooked up to these machines, and Castle's doing these tests on him. I'm like, what the hell are you doing to him? Like, what? He's like Frankenstein style. Like, because we're seeing it through Juliet's eyes, and she's scared, so we don't know what's going on in the other character's head. And it turns out that he was getting tested for his power, but he wouldn't tell her, and I needed to know. I was reading the book, and I'm like, no, I need to know what's going to happen. What's wrong with him? I had turning every page, and it's left in suspense, and I was like, no, I need to know more. And then we found out that it was Adam's power, which he can turn people off, and it's a cool power. But the only bad thing is that he was away from Juliet. He had to stay away from her because she was bad for him, but he said, no, you could be near me, it's okay. But in reality, it wasn't. It just tore them apart. I love Adam a lot, but my favorite character, and I want her with Warner. I'm just going to say it now. I want her with Warner, but I like those moments she had with Adam, but I think the scenes that she had with Warner are a little bit hotter and a little bit more passionate. With Adam, their relationship didn't work to me. I didn't see much passion between those two characters. Yes, there were times where they were getting a little hot and heated, but it was just, the scenes with Warner were a lot better, and I just feel that Juliet with Adam wasn't good for her, and it wasn't good for him because she was going to kill him, and we really don't want Adam dead. So Warner, we'll go Warner now. With Warner, it was a lot different because she's making her a stronger person, and we see Juliet progress throughout the book and become a very different person because she's different than she is in the first book, because it's like Juliet progressed and she transformed this awesome kick-ass character. Her with Warner was amazing. I loved it. He made her stronger, and I love the scenes where she told him he's a good person and that he can be good if he wants to, but he kept denying it, and he's like, I can't be a good person. She kept convincing him that he was a good guy, and I really wanted him to be good, but I also wanted him to stay bad because that's his thing. But he doesn't believe that he could be a good person when I think he could be. And that scene with the dog and I thought he was going to shoot the dog. He didn't shoot the dog, and I was very happy about that because I chose that he's not completely heartless. He's better with Juliet. And that scene when he came to see her at her room at Omega Point, he snuck to see her, and they had that passionate scene. And then his name is Aaron. Can we talk about that? His father's name is Anderson. And then Warner is his mother's last name, so he took his mom's last name, and we learned his mom is sick in that house where they went, and he wanted to take care of his mother. And then Anderson shot Juliet. That scene they had in the bedroom where he was kissing her, and he was like, she felt so loved, and she knew she wanted to be with him, but she also felt she was committed to Adam at the same time. And then she yelled out Adam's name, and I'm like, no, Juliet. And I don't think it was a mistake. Honestly, I think that she realized that it was Adam was going through her head at the same time. So she came to a realization, and she's like, oh my God, what about Adam? That's basically what I think. I don't think it was a slip of the tongue. I just broke my heart, and it just made me feel bad that Warner was so upset, and then he escapes, and I was waiting for the moment because he's like, I'm gonna escape. He says this earlier, and then later on, he leaves, and then they see her again. And I said, I want him to go with her and to come with me. And I was waiting for that moment. I said, what if it's going to happen? And then I read a few scenes later, and it's like, I want you to come with me. And I'm like, yes, Juliet, do it, go. And I want them to run away together and be together. I owned ship, I am Team Warner, but I wanted them to run away together, and he said it, and because she loves him, but she also loves Adam, and she didn't want to make Adam feel bad. We have to go over the fact of Kenji in this book. Kenji was hilarious. He made a couple of jokes. He was funnier in the first book, but in the second book, he was really funny too. He was all these jokes and brought Juliet back into reality. He gave her that speech. He's like, get out of your problems. I don't care if you and Kent are going steady and everything. And he is the character that actually helped her and made her realize things that she was missing. And then, oh my God, and Kenji went to the hospital because got touched by Warner, because we don't know Warner's power, and he can take other people's powers and touch them, and he got Juliet's power and Kenji. I thought he was going to die. I was like, no, Kenji, don't die. And he didn't. And they all fought in the battle, and I said, oh, Kenji better not die in this battle. He better not. I can't let him go. So thank God he's okay. Kenji was very good in this book. He was only briefly in it, but he was very, very good, and it just made me sad when he got touched, and I was like, no. Oh, and then we gotta talk about the fact that, oh my God, Warner's dad is Adam's dad. Oh my God, because after Juliet shot him, and then Adam just was, he's like, that's my dad. I'm like, what? Plot twist? I was in total, utter shock. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I was like, oh God. And then after that, we don't see much of Anderson anymore. Well, we do. Yeah, in the end, we see Anderson, but then he leaves, and then we'll probably see more of him in the next book. Anderson is described as handsome, obviously like his sons. He shot Juliet. He is a bad person. He is worse than Warner. And Warner is not bad in my opinion. I think he wants to be good, but he just doesn't believe in himself, and he should. But he should also be the antagonist still, because you got that bad side of him, and that's what makes him him. So let's see for the next book if he's gonna end up turning around or anything. I hope he does turn around. Maybe he will be a good person because he got his power and the castle tried to convince him otherwise, but he just doesn't believe in himself, and I think he should because he's Warner. He's a good person, he just doesn't know it. So then about Warner's tattoo. His tattoo says Ignite on it, which is the name of the last book with Ignite. Warner's tattoo has Ignite on his back, and then he has a bunch of tattoos, which and then the thing with the diary, he took her diary, and that was a private moment that Juliet had, and he was reading them out loud. The way he was reading them was, I feel like he took Juliet's privacy away from her. He should have just left good enough alone, but he just read it out loud because he wanted her to hear her own words and interpret them into his own ideas. It's a privacy and how he took it, and he kept the diary and actually forgot about the diary for a while, the journal. and then they popped up again with Warner in his hands. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So the idea of the journal came back, and I forgot about that. So that was a good moment too. James was apologizing to Juliet. He's like, I'm sorry to hate you. It's just, I didn't know everything about you and everything. I'm sorry. And a moment between James and Juliet, because they were like best friends in like the first book, and they were just getting to know each other, and then everything. And now everything's all good between them, and it was such a cute moment between those two. And then hostages, the Brendan and Winston in the house. I'm not too sure if I think they were rescued. I don't know what's going to happen in the next book with these two, but we haven't seen them at all in this book because they got taken. Then towards the end of the book, we get the war aspect, and everybody's preparing for this war. It's torrential rain, and they're all going in to fight. This book ended in suspense, and she put on her gloves, and she realized, I'm going to do this, I'm going to fight. And then that's how the book ended. And to me, the first book ended in kind of like concluded. Didn't really end in much suspense. It set things up for the next book, and then this book is gonna end in suspense, thus it's gonna set things up for the next book. But I wasn't expecting that because there was a lot of pages left at the end, and I said, ooh, maybe I'm gonna read more. And there was the end of the chapter, and it said acknowledgements. I'm like, no, it can't end. And I was in such denial. I just didn't want it to end, and it made me want to pick up the next book. And actually for Christmas, I got the Shatter Me novellas. So I'll be reading those pretty soon, and I heard they're in Warner's POV, which I'm really excited. I want to read what goes on in his head. The end of the book was very good. It ended in a little bit of suspense, and it makes you want to pick up the next one, and I enjoyed this book. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was very, very good, and I loved it. My theories for the next book are, Anderson, does he have a power? Because if his tough sons do, it's probably implied because of DNA. So I want to know what Anderson's power is. I want to see some more Juliet and Warner. I want to see more Adam. I want to see if their relationship does repair itself, but I don't. Do I want the relationship to repair itself? Yeah, I guess. But I also want to see Warner and Juliet maybe progress in their relationship, and maybe, but I don't want to see Adam by himself. I'm one-sided here, but I want Warner and Juliet to be together, but I also want Juliet and Adam's relationship to repair a little bit because they're kind of uneasy right now. I want Warner to know that Adam is his brother. Like, he doesn't know, and I want him to know. I want to see them have some type of, not that they're going to have any brotherly love because they kind of hate each other. So I want him to know. I just want to see how that would play out in the next book. I want to see if he finds out that they're brothers. I want to see more. I want to see if Warner's mother shows up in this book, because we know she's sick, but she was mentioned, but she never showed up. I want to see some of that. I want to see more Kenji, obviously. I mean, he's hilarious. He's my favorite character. I want to see more, I guess, maybe less war. Like I said, it's not really important into the story. I want to see just all this stuff happen. I want to see more new characters. I want to see where the story ends and how it builds up to the very end. That is the Shatter Me series. That's my book talk. I hope you guys liked it. I will have some more videos up in the future because I'm on winter break, so I will be filming more, probably at least once a week. My social media is at LettyFan93 on Twitter and at DivergentFan93 on Instagram. So follow, like, subscribe, thumbs up, guys, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!